Hi, good morning. Hope all of you are fine. In the last class, we have discussed about compact operators, compact set and relatively compact set. Okay? Now what do you mean by a relatively compact set? A set K is said to be relatively compact if every sequence xn belongs to K has a Cauchy subsequence xni. Okay? Today we are going to discuss one definition of epsilon net in A. Okay? In any set A. Okay. So also we are going to prove one lemma, and the lemma says that a set capital M is relatively compact if and only if for every epsilon greater than 0 there exists a finite epsilon net in M. Now we will discuss what is actually an epsilon net. Okay. Now what do you mean by an epsilon net? Okay. Now let X be a, listen carefully, each term is very important. Let X be a metric space. Okay. And A is a capital letter A is a subset of X. Okay. Now a set script A. Okay, subset of X is called an epsilon net of A if and only if for all x belongs to A, there exists a y belongs to script A, such that the distance from x to y is less than epsilon. Okay, that means if you take any x belongs to X, you can find some y belongs to capital A such that norm of x minus y is strictly less than epsilon. Okay, and this is true for every x belongs to capital A. Okay, so once again, A is called an epsilon net if and only for all x belongs to A. Okay, if you take for any x belongs to A, you can find some y belongs to this set. Okay, such that the distance from x to y is less than epsilon. That means norm of x minus y is less than epsilon. Hope the definition is clear. Suppose script A is equal to some y1, y2. This may be finite or infinite. Suppose this is equal to this one. What is the meaning of that? An epsilon net. This is an epsilon net. A is called an epsilon net implies norm of x minus y1 is less than epsilon or norm of x minus y2 less than epsilon for every x belongs to our set capital A. Okay. Then we call this set A is called an epsilon net of capital A. Norm of x minus y1 less than epsilon or norm of x minus y2 less than epsilon for every x belongs to A. This condition holds. Okay. That what is the meaning of that? What is the meaning of that? Norm of x minus y1 less than epsilon. Also norm of x minus y2 less than epsilon. So if you consider some y1 here and some y2 here. Okay. So norm of x minus y1 less than epsilon means you can find some epsilon ball with radius epsilon and some x lies here. Okay. Also you can find some ball with the center y2 and radius epsilon and some points of x lies here. Actually the all points of A. Sorry, some points in A. Okay. That means the elements of A are divided into 2 and some elements belongs to this ball and some elements belongs to this ball. Okay. Note one more thing. The script A is actually is actually a subset of X. Our capital A is a subset of X. Script A is also a subset of X. Therefore, script A may contain elements of A. Okay, you have to note this. Okay. So, an epsilon net of A means, suppose this script A is finite. Suppose this script is finite and A is equal to some y1, y2, etc. some yk. What is the meaning of that? You can find balls. Okay, this is some y1 and this is some y2, y3, etc. yk and epsilon radius. So elements of elements of A must be contained in this ball. Okay. Now we are going to prove one lemma, and the statement of the lemma is M is relatively compact if and only if for every epsilon greater than 0 there exists a finite epsilon net in M. For every epsilon greater than 0 there exists a finite epsilon net in M. Okay, that means you can find a script A such that script A must contain finite number of elements. Suppose this must contain some y1, y2, etc. yn. For every epsilon greater than 0, this condition holds. Okay, so if M is relatively compact, then this condition also hold. Also, if this condition holds for every epsilon greater than 0, then M is relatively compact. Okay, first suppose that M is relatively compact, and we have to prove that for every epsilon greater than 0, there exists a finite epsilon net in M. Okay, now what is the meaning of a relatively compact set? M is relatively compact if every sequence xn belongs to M, okay, has a Cauchy subsequence. Now what is the meaning of a Cauchy sequence? The definition of Cauchy sequence you already know, and it is a Cauchy subsequence means, what is the meaning of that? Cauchy subsequence x and I. Okay, so what is, if suppose we are denoting this as some like this, x and I. Here I is varying actually. Okay, so x and I, you denote this as like this. So what is this? This is a subsequence of our sequence xn. Now this is a Cauchy. What is the meaning of this? This is Cauchy means given epsilon greater than 0, there exists a natural number n such that for every m comma n greater than or equal to n, modulus of xn raised to m minus xn raised to n is less than epsilon. Xn raised to m minus xn raised to n is less than epsilon. Okay, after some point the distance between these terms must be less than epsilon. If this is true for every epsilon greater than 0, then we call this as a Cauchy subsequence. Okay, so this is the definition of Cauchy subsequence, and here we are assuming that M is relatively compact. Therefore, if you take any sequence xn, then it has a Cauchy subsequence. That means it has a subsequence satisfying this condition. Okay. Now suppose that M is relatively compact, and we have to prove that for every epsilon greater than 0, there exists a finite epsilon net in M. Okay, we assume that suppose this condition not hold. Okay, that condition not hold means, what is the meaning of that? For every epsilon greater than 0, there exists a finite epsilon net in M. That condition not holding means you can find some epsilon greater than 0, and that for that epsilon, the epsilon net is not finite. Okay, let it be epsilon naught. Assume that there exists a epsilon naught greater than 0 such that there is no finite epsilon naught net in M. Okay, assume that there exists an epsilon not greater than 0, epsilon naught greater than 0 such that there is no finite There is no finite epsilon naught net of m. And we have to prove this leads to a contradiction. That means for every epsilon greater than 0, there is a finite epsilon net in m. Okay, so you choose some x1 belongs to m. Okay, choose some x1 belongs to m. And choose x2 be such that norm of x2 minus x1 is greater than or equal to epsilon naught. Choose x2 belongs to m such that norm of x2 minus x1 is greater than or equal to epsilon naught. Whether this m exists, okay, we have to check whether there exists some m. Okay, whether there exists some whether there exists this x2. Okay, so, x1 belongs to m and we have to choose x2 belongs to m such that norm of x2 minus x1 greater than or equal to epsilon. Clearly this m x2, there exists some x2. Suppose there does not exist x2. What happens? What happens? For every x belongs to m, okay, norm of x minus x1 is strictly less than epsilon. Okay, first we choose some x1 belongs to m and let x2 be such that norm of x2 minus x1 greater than or equal to epsilon. Choose x2 belongs to m such that norm of x2 minus x1 greater than or equal to epsilon naught. So we have to check whether this is possible or not. Suppose there does not exist some x2 satisfying this condition. What is the meaning of that? x2 belongs to m such that this condition is not holding. What is the meaning of that? That means for every x belongs to m, norm of x minus x1 must be strictly less than epsilon naught. Okay. Therefore, if you consider some script m as set x1, clearly norm of x minus x1 is less than epsilon naught for every x belongs to m. What is the meaning of that? This set, singleton set x1 is an epsilon naught net in m. And clearly this is a finite set. Therefore, this is a contradiction because we assume that for this epsilon, it has no finite epsilon net in m. Okay. And no finite epsilon net such that there is no finite epsilon net. Okay. So if you assume, so if you take some x1 belongs to m, clearly then there exists an x2 belongs to m such that norm of x2 minus x1 greater than or equal to epsilon naught. Otherwise we get singleton x1 must be an epsilon net in m, and that is a contradiction. Okay, after choosing x2, choose x3 such that, choose x3 again belongs to m such that norm of x3 minus x2 less greater than or equal to epsilon naught. Also norm of x3 minus x1 greater than or equal to epsilon naught. x3 must satisfy this condition. Okay, suppose there does not exist such an x3. What is the meaning of that? That means for every x belongs to m, for every x belongs to m, suppose there does not exist this one. There does not exist an x3 such that this condition holds, means for every x belongs to m, either norm of x minus x2 less than epsilon naught or norm of x minus x1 less than epsilon naught. Okay. Now what is the meaning of that? This means for every x belongs to m, either norm of x minus x2 less than epsilon naught or norm of x minus x1 less than epsilon naught implies the set x1 x2 the script m is equal to x1 x2 is a finite epsilon naught net in m. Okay, that is again a contradiction. So proceeding like this, we get a sequence xn. We get a sequence xn such that after taking, if you consider x1 x2, after choosing xn minus 1, finally you can choose xn in such a way that norm of xn minus x1 comma norm of xn minus x2 etc. norm of xn minus 1 clearly greater than or equal to epsilon 1. Okay, then clearly there must exist such xn belongs to m. Okay, suppose there does not exist such xn in m, then we get this set x1 x2 etc. x1 x2 etc. xn minus 1 is an epsilon net in m, epsilon naught net in m. That is a contradiction. Therefore, clearly there exists an xn belongs to m, there exists xn belongs to m, satisfying this condition. Okay. Thus we get a sequence xn. Okay. Such that what is the meaning of the xn? For xn, clearly xn minus x1 greater than or equal to epsilon naught norm of xn minus x2 greater than or equal to epsilon naught etc. Okay, so if you choose xn, then we get this. Thus we get a sequence xn. Okay, now for this sequence, clearly this is a sequence in m. And clearly this sequence does not have a Cauchy subsequence. Why? If this sequence has a Cauchy subsequence, then for every epsilon greater than 0, there exists a n such that norm of xm minus xn must be less than epsilon naught for every n comma m greater than or equal to n. Okay, but here we have these conditions. Okay, so no, final norm of xn minus xn minus 1 is greater than or equal to epsilon naught. Okay, we have to prove if xn is we have to prove as m is a relatively compact, we have to prove this sequence as a Cauchy subsequence. Okay, and as this sequence is clearly this sequence has no Cauchy subsequence. Okay, this which is a contradiction because we assume that m is relatively compact. That means for every epsilon greater than 0, clearly there exists a finite epsilon net in m. Okay, thus we have proved if m is a relatively compact set, then for every epsilon greater than 0, there exists a finite epsilon net in m. Okay, now we have to prove the converse. The converse part we will discuss in next video.